Hello, I'm Jerry Notable. I'm from Sioux Automation Center in Sioux Center, Iowa. We sell the Maxi-Mixers that you see behind me, and we're really into having our customers know everything that they can about their wagon, and to be able to see important parts to do maintenance on, things that can be missed or that are easy to be missed. So I'd like to show you a few things on our wagon. To start off is the wheels here. You want to make sure that the lug nuts stay tight in here, because if they work loose, it's going to end up ruining the hub and ruin your studs and everything. So you want to make sure that you keep tire pressure good and your lug nuts stay tight on your wheels. Next, I'd like to move right underneath here. We have our this is a twin screw wagon. There's one in the front, one in the back. And with that, we got a planetary in the front and we have a planetary in the rear. What drives them is this drive line right down here. It's coming from the front, this to the front gearbox here, and then another drive line that runs from here to the second. All of them have crosses in there that need to be greased. And along with that, this front one has the shear yoke in it. And if you get something in the wagon or whatever and it stops turning, chances are you sheared the shear bolt right here behind this protective cover here. So we'll move up to the discharge here. In the back here is where things get tightened, and so it tightens the chain and the conveyor. And it's simple. There's 4 bolts that come loose, and then there's an adjuster bolt right down here that pushes the sprockets back to tighten up the chain. There is a clean out back door right down here that if you do get something in the discharge, you can just pull this pin and this back door will swing open, that you can clean out the back end, and if there's something jammed in there, you can get that pulled out. We move around to the front here. We got the front bearing right down here on that drive shaft that I was showing that goes to the planetary, and then there's a cross right down here in the PTO also that needs to be greased right along with your other ones. And same way with the tractor half of the PTO, that's all got to be greased at the same time. And it all depends on the amount of hours that you run the wagon daily as to how often that you need to do it. And all that information would be inside your manual also. There's a couple things I'd like to show you specifically on the PTO part for the wagon. One thing that we run across is guys will have their wagon on their tractor continually, that they don't take it off, and they fail to take off the PTO off of the tractor and make sure that everything is lubed up right. You want to make sure, if you look on the wagon here, the spline here, and the spline on the end of the PTO, it's even better if you take the shield off and grease up the shaft good and proper so that you got a good slipping, because if it runs dry, then it can affect your scale and everything. Plus, it's awful hard on your yokes and your crosses if it's dragging in and out, that it can't slide easy. And this shield is actually, I don't have a screwdriver with me, but it's really a simple one to take apart. All you do is take this little red clip, you pop this out, and, well, hold on here just a second. I happen to have my Leatherman here with me. You just take this and slide this out, and then push this over, and that's it. And the shield slides right off. Really simple, easy thing to do, and that's the best way to maintain your PTO. Okay, in the PTO, there's 4 grease zerks that you got to make sure that you get. This one here greases the center plates in the CV, in the constant velocity. Very important. This one here does this back cross in the back yoke. This one here I always thought that it was just another one for this one here, but I found out that this yoke has got journals that go all the way around here, and they go to the center pin in the CV. Very critical that this one gets grease. But when you grease it, make sure that your PTO is sitting straight. Don't be like this, because if you pump her full of grease, you won't get it straight again unless you take the zerk out and let the pressure off. So you always want to grease this one with the yoke sitting straight. Otherwise, you're going to have problems with being able to straighten it back out again. So a key thing on this PTO, on these CV PTOs, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Grease all 4 zerks, and they'll last a lot longer. And because we have a lot of them that wear out the little ball that sits in the center because it doesn't get grease, and it ruins it. And I'm here to tell you, this thing is expensive. This half is about $1,000. So grease is a lot cheaper than buying a new PTO. Here we got the pivot right down here for the conveyor that needs to be greased. Not as often because it's not a spinning part. It's just letting the conveyor come down. There's bearings up at the top end of the conveyor here also, and there's a chain coupler in between here that you should check regularly. That make sure that the teeth and so and that the chain is good and so in the inside there. We have cylinder stops here that set your height for your conveyor, where it comes down, and the safety catch comes out of here, and these here cylinder stops go on the cylinders so that when you run it down, you set your height, and then your conveyor chain will kick in, and then there's a check valve to hold it so that when you pull the conveyor back up, the chain will stop and it'll come up into place and gets held with your tractor hydraulics. Other than that, it's really a pretty simple machine. It's a good running machine, low maintenance, and it really makes it a satisfiable piece of equipment for the customers to use because there's minimal amount of work that you need to do it. Thank you for your time, and hope this is a help to you.